It just didn't make sense. And I would tell anybody, any dreamer, it's not supposed to make sense. It's not supposed to make sense. That's what dreaming is. You dreaming so big that other people are not going to be able to see it. It's only your vision to see.
Welcome to another edition of the Root of Everything podcast, where we interview passionate people that have found success doing what they love to do. Today we have a longtime high school friend, Daraja Medlock, back in Dallas, Texas. Introduce yourself, Daraja, for this.
Hello, my name is Daraja. As you know, Jamar knows me as Daraja Medlock.
Okay.
I'm also Daraja Superstar. That's my stage name. I'm an artist, singer, rapper, songwriter, model. I'm currently living in Los Angeles, but I'm from Dallas, Texas. So we home, we here, and I'm really excited. I'm so glad. Thank you for having me.
No, I'm glad we got to make this happen. Got a little homecoming interview. You know
Right?
what I mean?
Isn't it crazy?
Perfect.
I love it, yeah.
Saying? But first off, happy to have you on here.
Thank you.
We start off every interview with the same question to get a basis for our viewers and everybody listening.
Okay.
We would like to know, what would you define as your passion, and what's your definition of success?
My passion would probably be just dreaming in general. Since I was a kid, my mom has always instilled in me, like, if you want something, go get it. Like, why not you?
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like that's my passion, and especially music. I've always been in love with music. And my definition of success is basically achieving what you want to do. Like, no one's definition of success is your definition. So if you doing what you want to do, as long as you're working towards it, you can't worry about the outside noise. So that's what I would say.
I love it. That's really the definition I have.
Yeah.
Everybody defines it differently, but success is something only you can know for yourself.
Yeah, it's not tangible. It's how you feel.
Exactly. So I'm glad you have that perspective. It makes me know we got the right person on the podcast.
Well, yeah.
But so going into, like you said, you've always kind of known that's your passion with music and dreaming. At what moment did you know, like, specifically? Was it like, maybe I'm good at this? You were singing somewhere. What was like the moment where you were like, yo, this is who I am?
So what's crazy, my grandfather, he just heard me singing one day, and he was like, he told my mom, he said, Rhonda, she kind of can hold a note. so she started putting me in different talent shows. She put me on radio show competitions, and I would just sing. And then from there, we met a producer. His name is Fast. So then I got into a kid group. So just since I was a kid to adolescence, I was just performing, getting used to that, making music. And then so becoming a solo artist as an adult, I was like, this is what I want to do in my life. I want my dreams to fulfill me, to fund my lifestyle. So I moved to LA, and I just bet on myself, and it's been working out really well.
That's amazing. And so you kind of almost always had this vision of, like, going to LA.
Yeah.
From the jump?
Well, what's interesting is that I visited Atlanta too.
Okay.
So yes, I visited Atlanta,
And this is while you were, like, before.
we were in high school.
We still in
Yeah,
high school,
we
okay.
was. I was about 17, so I visited Atlanta first, and I was like, okay, it's cool. But LA just was a different beast, and I just felt like if I can conquer LA, like if I can do it here, I can do it anywhere. And I figured it out when I first moved there. I made some really good connections, and just being really good on social media and being consistent with that, it opened up a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
Got you. So if there's somebody else out there that they found it early, they want to be an artist or get into the entertainment industry, I think a lot of times with going forward, you have all these opinions from other people. And so I can only imagine. What is your process like? Like, you understood this early, with, like, navigating the decision of going for it and maybe going to college to get an education or going a normal route. How were you able to decide that when you knew, what your vision was?
Literally, to this day, I will never forget, even at Dunn, like, there were people who, it just didn't make sense. And I would tell anybody, any dreamer, it's not supposed to make sense. It's not supposed to make sense. That's what dreaming is. You dreaming so big that other people are not going to be able to see it. It's only your vision to see. So a lot of people told me, like, oh, a lot of people are trying to do the same thing you're doing. LA, it's a lot of, artists. It's a lot of models. And it was very discouraging. I'm not going to lie. Like, even people that I really care about, close family members, friends. But I can say, blocking out the noise, and my mom really helped me do that, blocking out the noise really helped. And all you have to do is just do it. Like, a lot of people listen to that outside noise, and it keeps them from taking that next step. But oh my gosh, as soon as you break that barrier and just do it, that's when them same people congratulate you. So it's I forgot
No,
what
you
the
good.
question
You
was.
gave us a
I
lot.
started
You gave us a lot. Don't even worry.
I had a lot to say,
Yeah.
but no, yes, I would definitely say that to anyone. Just keep doing you.
And I think I can relate to it. And like for me, with my journey, that kind of came like 4 years after you. Like for
Really?
me, yeah. So like when I went to college, I think it was about. I speak about it every time I speak at schools. But like once I got to like my junior year, I knew I wanted to be a speaker. Like I knew that was me.
Okay.
And once you get to like that point in college, as if you get to the point in high school, you have to start figuring out what you're gonna do afterwards.
Yes.
And then I had a job in DC and I was doing good. And I just knew it was time to leave. I didn't know how.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was the method of getting there. But there's just this level, and I think anybody that's a dreamer can relate. Like you just have to just jump.
You have to jump.
You have to jump without knowing, just with faith. But the thing that got me, and I want to kind of hear your perspective. Like for me, what propelled me to my decision was I don't want to know I could have got there earlier if I didn't go now. Like, was there an element of like I don't want to regret this, or was it an element of just you were just so sure of yourself that this is just what's next in my life?
So to make sure I answer the previous question in that as well, the thing with college, because I've always been academically sound, like I've always been really smart. That's actually how I got the scholarship to go to Dunn.
Okay.
And then I actually received scholarships to go to a lot of great schools, but I just knew that what do I really want to do? Like, not what society wants me to do, not what makes sense to everyone else. What do I want to do? And I knew what I wanted to do didn't require a degree right now. So, and you can always go back and get your education, and I would like to do that, go back and get my degree later in life. But I would say that betting on me was probably the best thing that I could have done. And I would tell anybody that, like, okay, you go to school and then you're trying to figure out, okay, what is it that I'm going to do? Nobody is trying to help you on that side. They just saying, go to school.
Yeah.
They not trying to help you stay afloat. They not trying to help you get your career after you get your degree. They just like, go to school because it makes sense. That's just the right, like, no.
Yeah, and I think the problem with that is all of us have our different ways of getting to wherever it is. Like,
Yes.
there's no cookie cutter way to
It's
getting-
not. That's crazy you said cookie cutter. My mom is going to watch the... She always says that there's no cookie cutter way. Life is so complex and everybody's different. Everybody's journey looks different. So it's interesting that you said that,
And
yeah.
I also love that you brought up like how you were good in school because going into this interview, I was like, man, Daraja was just so smart in school. And it's just, it's like I've always wondered like that fact of like of that
What
journey.
that looked like, yeah. And to a lot of people... It to this day, my great grandmother, real old school, they just can't see it. Like she's still like, so is she going? Is she going to school?
Yeah.
And I know it's all love, but
just different perspectives.
it's just different perspectives.
And I think one of the big things I took from you, like you can't rely on just doing something you're just good at. Like one of the things I talk about in my speeches with students is like you can't just decide what you want to do based off what you're good at, because you can get good at anything. Like
Absolutely.
so you put in the time, you can get good. But if you just go at it because it's good, when it gets hard, you're not gonna want to do it no more.
Man.
And you figure out you knew what you wanted to do. And
I did.
I think we sleep on the value in that. Like there's somebody who went to college, who has a job, and their parents are happy, but they're not happy. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's so much of that. It's so much of that. And I can say that I'm so appreciative to have such a support system. A lot of people, and they persevere, they get through it, but a lot of people don't have close family and friends behind them supporting them, saying like, no, you do you, and you do it well and be the best version of you. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, and I think that's big time. Like for me, like I had the perspectives of like, you have this job and this. But I think those one or two friends that just say, go for it.
Really? Yeah.
Like, are beyond valuable.
They are.
And so I can only imagine like what would have happened if I had too many negative people. Like one more negative person. You know what I mean?
Could change the whole trajectory of your life. Life is about decisions, and you choose left or right, and You chose.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you. That's why I was so happy to come on here, because I knew, I was like, wow, Jamar is really out here speaking.
Yeah,
And that's the beauty of it, because we look back and we like, I never would have thought this is something that you would have done in like when we was in school. But that's it. You decided like, this is what I want to do, and you're doing
And
it.
just different timings. Like you had it early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And like subconsciously, I almost imagine like maybe seeing you go for it subconsciously helped me in my journey. Like I can't say.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
And I love that. I think that a lot of times it's subconsciously we do make decisions based off of what we see other people do. And what I can say about you is that the divine timing is always perfect. Like a lot of people feel like, well, this person already knew what they wanted to do, so what if I had started when they started? I probably would be further, but that's not how it works. Because I don't know if everybody's spiritual, but I feel like God is, you know, we have free will, but it's still right there helping us and molding us and making sure we have to be able to be put into places and receive the blessings before they're put into our lives. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
I'll say to piggyback, you just got piggybacking me, but or I'm piggybacking off of you. It's like for me, those 4 years where I didn't know yet. Now in my work of helping students to figure out what they want, now I have the ammunition to be able to serve them. You know what I mean? And so like sometimes like the blessing is not having it yet. The blessing is going through the struggles.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
You said everything just right there, because even in LA, I had a hard time. Like, I had a hard time. Stuff wouldn't work out, and I just didn't know what to do. But I can say that if I didn't go through half of what I went through, I wouldn't be as great as I am now. And even now, God still gives me different tests and challenges. But the best thing about it is, like, I'm able to say, okay, I've been here before. I know how to sit in this. I know how to not think with emotion, be logical, and to just pray about it. So I can say, I always tell people the balance is necessary. If you would never appreciate the good if you didn't go through what you went through. So
you ain't lying. And so I think you kind of went into my next question, and I kind of wanted to learn. So you knew from a young age, and you go to LA. What were some of the realities of going to LA? I know we have these like mental or TV pictures of what it's like to be an artist and move to LA. What's the true reality of going and doing that? Like only you would know because you actually went through it. But we get all the stuff on TV that makes it kind of look like a facade. What is it really like?
I can say that LA is not all glitz and glam like it's portrayed in the media. Now, it's a beautiful place. There's a lot of spatial inequality. There's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of drug abuse, a lot of mental health issues. And these are things you see on the street. Like you can be going on vacation to LA, driving down the street and see someone at the lowest point of their life and just see people walking right past them like it's nothing. It's so normal. That was one of the biggest shocks to me. And the disparity kind of helped me to appreciate that, okay, when I first got there, like I slept on my aunt's couch until we were able to like get on our feet. The disparity helped me to appreciate like people really are out here and fighting for their lives every day. Like this is not a game. And I would say LA is full of beautiful opportunities if you know the right people and make the right decisions. But that was one of the biggest shocks to me, that it's not all fun and games like it is on TV out here. It's real life, yeah.
And then, like, what was the industry like? Like, what was it like navigating the industry, getting opportunities, networking? Like, what was your dynamic in that area?
So when I first moved to LA, I started off, my main source of income, I started off doing music videos and modeling. And that my first music video was with Nipsey Hussle, may he rest in peace. And it was Racks in the Middle with him and Roddy Ricch. And so from there, I just was meeting other people, other models, and just connecting with people. And it is a dog-eat-dog world. Like, you have to learn to not take things personally. You know, a lot of opportunities, people will not hold up their word. You might miss out on some things, but you have to know, like, okay, God got me, I'm cool. But I networked my ass off. I networked my ass off, and I just worked my way up, up, and build connections. And you have to be likable, too. I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, at first I was a little apprehensive because LA is not like the South. It's not as authentic. People are very fickle. And I don't know, somebody will be your friend this day and then you see them the next day, they don't speak to you. And that's normal there. So the Southern hospitality in me, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was like, this is, y'all are rude.
Yeah.
I was over it, but I was able to adjust. And somebody just told me yesterday, like, you can tell the LA getting to you in a good way. I have the balance. I'm able to adjust. So
how, like, navigating that stuff, now you've been there for 4 years, how do you stay who you are, but then adapt to the circumstances and the region that you're in?
staying grounded. I think the best thing that happened was my mom moved with me.
Okay.
My mom quit her job here. Yes.
Talk about support. That's
What?
Yeah.
My little brother, he's a senior in high school now, but he came and went to middle school in LA, high school in LA, and they just came and literally went with me to chase my dreams, and they're also doing really well. My mom has an amazing job. My brother is doing really well, playing high school football, really smart. So I had that. A lot of people don't have that, but I can say that I was able to come home from every shoot, every set, every session, and come home to my roots, and come home to the person who raised me and would say, like, I know you didn't like the way that made you feel, but we not going to act like that. Or we going to continue to be this way because this is how I raised you, or this is how God wants you to be. So I had that. That's why I'm still,
That's
the way
amazing.
that I am.
Yeah, that I did not know that. So
Yeah.
it's amazing. And I think it's so important to stay grounded because, like, with each level, there's a level of pride, there's a level of ego that can kind of like.
Yes.
Something you've seen.
Oh my gosh. People have been rotten by ego. Even people now, like, I go to a lot of events, and I'm still early in my career as a solo artist, but I meet so many other artists and other industry people, and I've met some people who were just nasty. Like, they just don't have good spirits, just feel like, but a lot of times, especially in LA, people are mean because someone was mean to them early in their career. So it's like, in order for me to feel superior or like this VIP, I need to make you feel small. And that happens a lot. But the best thing you can do is just ignore those people and do you, yeah.
That's crazy. Dang, that seemed like a lot to adjust to. Like, one thing I like about living in Dallas personally, I do my thing and it's just me. You know what I mean? It's me, the camera.
Real.
What we bring in here, and when I speak, it's me. That's a dynamic I didn't even have to. I couldn't even.
Right. Yeah, it's
funny.
different.
And then how do you manage? So one thing I've recognized with you is you're kind of like, I've seen you have rap videos. You're singing. Like, how are you finding your voice? What is that journey looking like for you right now?
So to even go back to our previous topic about just jumping, I had to really just jump with music because I kind of got typecasted, or like I was getting boxed in as just this face, or just being, someone to be in a video or a model. No one was really taking me seriously as an artist. And a lot of times people would say like, oh, we gonna work. And it wasn't happening. So until I got my funds together and started putting money behind me and pushing me, that's when people was like, oh. And I was able to really show, like, I do really well at what I do. It's not just like, oh, people think I'm cute, so I want to make music. It's not one of those. It's never been that. So I can say that singing, rapping, I like to call myself a vocal poet. Okay. I just like to express myself in any way. Like, I hear a beat and I'm like, okay, this is how I want to sound on this beat. And I'm still finding my sound. I know that that's important in this industry, and I have people helping me with that. But I just do what I feel. I feel like that's one of the best things that you can do, is just, your gut is going to tell you. It's a great compass, and I just do what I feel.
I love that. And that's something I can relate to. As a creative, I think the number one thing a fan or anybody listening to you in any type of art is authenticity.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Go into it.
No, true. It's the thing about LA too. It's so many people trying to be what they think they need to be in order to pop off. especially when you see people going viral every day and you like, okay, I need to do something real crazy, or I need to talk about this. And especially, you know, what we see in the music industry is just, you know, people just trying to figure out what they need to do instead of being themselves. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I really appreciate artists who are themselves and create at their own pace. Now, I know that, you know, people are always, we overconsume now, especially with social media. People's attention spans are short and everyone is just overconsuming. But I can appreciate the quality over quantity artists like the Kendricks and the J. Coles and even the Beyoncés, like people who still value the art. Yeah, for sure.
That's interesting. And yeah, I didn't expect that from you. But I think that's interesting because I know when I work, there's a pressure to be consistent, quote unquote. There's a pressure to be consistent and give people, or like act like you're not lazy. But I think, you know, I don't want to give people a disservice. Like, I don't want to give you something that was like, you know, you turn in your homework and you did it right outside.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's one of the ways I feel like you can be counterproductive and really F yourself if you try to rush your process. And that's a problem that I had with myself. It was so bad, especially being an artist and just trying to be consistent with content creating and just different things. And I was just like, I'm not a lazy person. Yeah. I actually love work. I love doing what I love to do. It's just not the moment right now. And if I try to rush this, then y'all gonna say, oh, this trash. Oh, she just doing anything. So I just had to say, you know what? It's this rat race going. Yeah. I don't have to join. I'm gonna just do my own thing at my own pace. And it works.
Yeah.
It works.
And I think we forget why we started. Like, we started because we liked what we were doing.
Yes, and it makes you stop liking what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I found, like, there's been moments where I'm too hard on myself. Then I'm like, man, I'm not even, like, liking it anymore because I'm trying to compete with whatever statistic is out there.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
It's like, I tell people what I love about this show is, like, your passion is kind of self-fueling yourself. You know what
exactly.
I mean? And so, regardless if my video gets 100 views, like, I enjoyed making the video.
I love that. Exactly. That's how I feel, especially, and sometimes I would get so insecure about likes, comments, views, streams. And now I'm just like, all I can do is be the best version of me and know that when I made this, I was passionate, I was being myself, and I felt it. And as long as those ingredients are in there, I feel like, and someone actually told me, you don't even have to have the best marketing scheme when you have good work. And the good work,
good dope sell itself.
Yes, exactly. The good work comes from you loving what you do. If you stop liking it, it's not going to be good.
Yep, so. I feel that. And I think so many people, and I bet you've seen it, get trapped in that, and they're in this one style that's fitting that criteria.
That's in any industry. Your industry, the music industry, that's really with anything it can apply,
And I think what it takes to, like, I think you may be able to get to this certain level with that strategy, but I don't think there's a level of being, like, to that next level, like that upper room of whatever industry, if you're not that authentic, because you'll run out of steam. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you're not gonna be able to keep up. You're doing extra to be able to keep up.
And people can pick up on that. People can pick up on inauthentic people. Even if you've ever been in a room with really successful people, they are themselves. They are themselves. I can say that, like, I've been around. You know, we have the alphabet list of industry. So I've been around A's, B's, C's, like, and I can say the A's, like when I've encountered A's, they are themselves. And even if you don't like them, they are themselves. I love that. Yeah.
And the thing is, I think people from all industries, creative industries, have to understand, like, you're not meant to have a fan from everybody. You're not.
Yes, everybody is not. Yes. And I think that took a lot of pressure off of me too, because I would be scared to post or scared to share myself, because I was like, okay, well, what if somebody say this, or what if they don't like that? And I'm like, everybody's not going to like you. Like, my mom even had to tell me, everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to support you, and you have to be okay with that.
And then understanding all those things when it comes to being yourself and, you know, finding your voice, the industry has kind of changed, in my opinion, from a novice view of the industry that you're in, music and entertainment industry. How do you think you're navigating this new age of business when it comes to your industry compared to maybe an artist that was coming up maybe 20 years ago? What do you think is the difference in that?
I always notice things like that. That's actually something that I've paid attention to because I'll think like, how would my career look back then?
Yeah.
Like, going on the Apollo or selling CDs out my trunk.
Yeah.
Like, and so I love everything about that because I feel like now it's so easy to obtain fame, but it's not easy to stay there. That's what makes it harder. So I feel like back then for artists, once you get there, you know you the real deal. You going in, you performing for the label right then and there, and they have to say, okay, we gonna invest in this. Live events, live shows. It's not about the content, it's about the talent, it's about the music. And so I feel like it's just a balance. Like back then, once you own, you know that you're a great artist. Now it's like, okay, we gonna see if you're a great artist because you popular and people like you, even though you might not even be talking about nothing.
Yeah.
We like you because all these millions of people like you. So I just think it's different. But that's why I always tell people too, followers are not fans. And a lot of people, a lot of artists, they feel like, oh, because they have like a lot of followers or a lot of people on TikTok and stuff, they can't sell out a show though. You have a different connection when you have true fans that are going to support you in the highs and lows of your career. And that's what I'm trying to build right now. That's why I stopped really worrying about the numbers because that was stressing me out.
Really?
I stopped worrying about the numbers because sometimes I'll post something really positive about myself and I'll lose followers. Like sometimes a lot of people don't like to see
The reality.
Yeah, they don't like to see that. So I stopped prioritizing that and started prioritizing, okay, for the people that do watch me and follow me and keep up with me, do they really like me? And those are a lot more valuable. Those are the people that are going to buy your tickets, stream your music, tell other people about you. And so I would say, as an artist today, that's what's important.
And I think one of the things I preach with Nick, me and Nick be having our little marketing meetings and stuff, it's like, yo, let's build foundation. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
People always want results that you can see. Like, I'm very fine with building foundation for 2 years and nobody see it.
Exactly.
'Cause I know
Yes.
when it hit,
Man.
it ain't going nowhere.
Man.
You feel me? But people, they can't accept delayed gratification. They can't accept it.
God,
I'm saying the right shit.
I'm a hop up. You better say
But
yes.
I'm just saying, like people, but that's how you know people, one, have the wrong definition of success, and they're just doing it for the wrong reasons. You know?
Exactly.
I bet there's a lot of people in your industry that are seeing somebody get famous quick and they want to do it. You know, but I think with you, from your mindset, whenever it happens, you ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
The foundation's there.
Exactly, and that's what that's you hit it on the nail. Really, I have to say that when you build a foundation, you've already set you've done the artist development. You've made good relationships with people. People already like you. You have the fan base. It's not fickle. It's not like, oh, well, your song trending right now, but then when you drop your next song, we not listening because, So that's the thing. I think people think, well, I just need to get on like right now. And I was like that for a second. I was in a very bad headspace for a second, but I needed to go through that. I did. And I'm glad I got out of that, but yeah, it's necessary.
So let's go deep into that. What like, was it like anxiety of not seeing the views pop off immediately? Like, what was the effects? And like, how quickly did that happen? Was that like right when you got to LA and you're like, I need to see something shake? What was that like?
So when I first got to LA, it was cool because I feel like when you kind of coming from nothing, like
everything
is gone. I'm like, oh, I'm just glad to be here. But then when I started to we get used to our blessings. We get so used to our blessings, and we start to forget, and we start to not be as appreciative because we like, okay, now I'm cool with that. That's cool. Like, I was doing videos so much. I've been in every artist video. I'm like, oh, this A-lister want me in a video. Ain't nothing. What's next? So I wasn't as appreciative. My gratitude was depleted. I was gone.
Yeah.
And that was making me have a very negative outlook on life. I felt like, oh, I am lost. I'm not doing what I want to do. Oh, woe me. And I had to stop that. I had to stop that immediately. And I didn't stop it until I realized nobody was coming to save me. Not even my mom. Like, she just didn't, no one can. Even if they want to, she wanted to. But it was just no way. And so I was anxious. I was anxious to do everything. I was scared to jump. Like, I jumped, I made it to LA, but then that next level, I was just scared to express myself because I felt like people don't want to receive this from me. So if I put myself out there, I'm going to look crazy because they want me to be this. But I was like, we all going to die. So am I going to live my life contingent upon what somebody else is going to do and let it just pass me by? Or am I just going to say, at least I tried? And when I said that and I tried, that's when it all started working out.
You touched on a lot because it's like going back to the fan base. If you're not walking comfortable, I can't say that word. I'm horrible. I'm a speaker and I can't say comfortably. But when you're walking as you, that gives you the chance to find your real fans. Like, if you're not being confident, then they're never gonna find you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so one of the things I realized was like, yeah, people like this version of Jamar, the corporate Jamar that's working at a job. Yeah, people like the Jamar that's
yes, exactly.
But if Jamar don't like that Jamar, then it don't matter.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's the perfect. You said that perfectly. It's the same thing, and that's why I say in any industry in life, period, it all applies. And so yes, people like the model. People love model Daraja. They like, oh yeah, just look good. And I was like, no, I have a lot more to offer. I speak really well. I make great music. I write really well. I would like to write for other people in the future. And I'm a great creative. Most of what's on my whole page is my ideas. And so I think one of the most beautiful things we can do as dreamers is bring it into fruition. And that is going to inspire the next dreamer in the next one.
It's funny you say that because, like, I had this moment literally yesterday. And they're like introducing me, Jamar, the speaker that spoke, and I'm just like, yo, I dreamed this when nobody saw it.
Oh, I
You know
love
what
that.
I'm
I'm going to tear up.
Yeah, I was just literally like, I'm like walking on the stage, I'm like, yo, I saw this before. You know what I'm saying? And so it's so important to like hold on to that. But then I got to really go back to one thing you said because I felt it, like with the gratitude part. Like, I find myself success, and then tomorrow I'm like almost like clean slate.
Yeah,
like,
what's next?
What's next? And if you don't have that grounding of like understanding your blessings, you'll constantly be needing some success to keep going. And I think it also comes back to like reminding yourself of your definition of success.
That's what it is, because if we kept that perspective, if we kept the perspective of, okay, I've achieved this, what's next? We would never be satisfied, and we would live a miserable life because it would never be enough. Yeah. It would never be enough. So I had to start to appreciate even now and say, God, you've done so much and I've done enough. Yeah. I'm going to keep doing what I want to do, but I've done enough to pat myself on the back, to say thank you, to be grateful. It's not, and so that's great that you said that. I can definitely relate.
And I think the gratitude hits another level. Like, I feel like my drive hit another level when you start, praying to whatever you pray to and start saying, I'm so grateful that even the bad, I'll be thankful for it because I know what it's going to make me into.
Man, when you get there, you've come far when you get there. It takes something to get, you go somewhere to be able to get there, because that's when you've persevered. You sat in it, the uncomfortability of it all. You sat right in it and you came out of it. So now you like, oh, okay, I see. And knowing that if it didn't happen, you would be stagnant. In order to move, it's going to be uncomfortable. So
I love it. I want to kind of go back into, like, in the industry, you're trying to be taken seriously for what you know you are to be. What do you think? Because I think there's a value in the networking aspect. You touched on it, and the professionalism aspect. Could you speak to the value of having that to overcome the obstacles of being taken seriously, and like what prepared you to have that ability?
That's what I was gonna say, because when you said like hearing, oh, Jamar the speaker, you should hear how you should see my face like when I first heard somebody introduce me like Daraja, she's an artist, and I'm like, exactly, exactly, that's me. Yes, thank you finally for seeing me for who I really am. And I have a publicist, and so my publicist, she represents me at most events and speaks on my behalf, and to just I have help now with networking for my brand, but I can say that she always tells me like I make her job so easy, really? Because I do my homework, I keep myself together, and I present myself in a way that makes it easy for her to market me, and I'm consistent with what I talk about. So whatever I'm talking about now, like I'm not finna cut the cameras off here and then go outside and act a different way. This is me, and I can say that I appreciate that. Yes,
that's beautiful, and I think that's the stuff that was working without you even know like it was becoming better. Like like I look at you, I'm like, I know she's networking out there. I know she's doing that because I knew how you were growing up, and there's a level of that that's been, and I think we kind of forget, like, sometimes maybe we're at school, like, I hate being at school, whatever. Like,
yeah.
You preparing for whatever's next in your life.
No, true. We've always had these high expectations of us, especially having a dad that worked at the school. Yeah, the expectations were always high, and just being in different. I was in FBLA. Yeah. What was the other one? I forgot.
Yeah, you was involved.
I was in FBLA and all different extracurricular activities and just different things. I feel like were the building blocks to our character, right? I feel like it starts early. It starts at home, but then also, okay, that was kind of getting us ready for the world, and it taught me structure. It taught me leadership, just being at done, period, yeah. I feel like.
And then when you take that and then you mush it into the industry, like, what percent, like, I know it's hard to give a percent, but, like, what percent do you think is the networking and that compared to the actual art? Like, in like, say you've been there for 4 years, like, what have you had to prioritize the most?
80-20.
80-20 what?
Because the networking is the 80 to me.
Okay.
And because you can be talented as hell in here. If you never walk out of here, no one's going to know it. And nobody going to care. And that's what I learned, too. Like, it was a year and a half where I just felt, like, mentally stagnant. I just felt like people weren't seeing me music-wise. And no matter how hard I thought about it, real hard, nothing happened. It wasn't until I went out and started doing things, that's when it mattered. And Denzel actually said, I be quoting Denzel in every interview. When I meet Denzel, he gonna be like, yeah. Denzel actually said, he said, there's someone less talented than you that's further than you because they were willing to bet on themselves. So take that how you want to, because and I already know this. We see greats, even our greats now. You may think like this person can out sing, this person can out rap, this, but
somebody that we don't know that's better than them talent wise.
It's somebody working at the deli that could, for all we know, could play better. Play better than LeBron. We don't know though, cause they over there. So it just that's why I say 80-20. And I know that it's extreme, but it's true. It's true. We see it all the time.
And then how would you advise somebody else to develop the skill of networking and speaking up for yourself? Like, would you have any advice for how to do that? Because I think there's a lot of people that know they love. The problem what happens is we have our passion and we know we love our passion, but then we get the reality of the other aspects to be successful in our passion. What would be your advice for somebody to then get the business side together?
I think that a lot of times, and I know that's harsh, but I had to tell myself that if you want it bad enough, you'll figure it out. And even if it takes you a little longer, it'll happen. So for a second, I didn't like talking to people. Which
is normal.
Yeah, like I was like, And somebody actually told me, this guy, he's in the industry in LA too. He was like, if you walk into a room because your brand, it's 20 people in the room, at least 18 should know who you are by the time you leave. And I was like, I go in the room and not say nothing. So I stopped that. I had to get out of my comfort zone. That was one of the biggest things I did. And then once I started to do that, that's when everything, like, it started rolling.
I agree. Like, for me, I didn't really get the networking until, like, I got to college. But, like, you talk about uncomfortability. Like, I would just go up to people, shake their hand, and not know what I'm going to say next. But, like, I usually describe it as just jumping in a pool before you know how to swim. Mm-hmm. And then you going to want to figure out how to swim because you don't want to die.
Even while you talking, it feel like you trying to keep your head above water, but you doing it. Mm-hmm. And one of the best things, the only way you can get better at something is to do it. So.
And you're never actually going to be ready for anything.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Never.
Yeah, you got to just jump in it, and you hit on it. Like, if you want it bad enough, you figure it out. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people say they want it, but they won't even search on YouTube how to blank.
And I try to be very understanding and receptive to people's feelings, because a lot of people feel like, well, they have a lot going on in their emotions, they not in the right space. And I understand that because I've been there, and I wanted somebody to hear me on that side without thinking like, oh, she don't want it bad enough. Because now you see I do. Mm-hmm. Now you on my bumper, right? Yeah. And so it was never that. I just had to grow. That's what I was talking about. God is going to help you grow so that you can receive what you want. If you're not ready to receive, then it's going to be just right here, waiting on you.
And the thing is, if you receive it too early, you're not going to keep it.
What? It's going to be, you're not. Mm-hmm. You're not going to know what to do with it, and it'll be gone just as fast as you get it.
Mm-hmm. So you got to kind of, take it all in, the yin and the yang, the bad and the good.
Yes, I say that too. Yin and yang.
It's like, if I'm ever going to get a tattoo, it's going to be a little yin yang.
I like that,
And then, like, just in an overall fashion, like, say there's a little Daraja out there that knows what they want. They want to be a singer, songwriter, whatever it may be. Maybe they're still in high school, or maybe they're working a job. What would be those steps you would tell them to take to start inching closer to maybe getting to the point you're at and then where you're aspiring to be?
I think I would say first is to get some type of good relationship with yourself. Now, I know that sounds a little cliche, but it's true. I'm talking about when you start to value and love yourself, that's when everything else starts to make sense. And I would say the people that do support you, keep those people close. Those are the people that are going to make the difference in your journey. And from there, just do it. Whatever you want to do, literally, you are never going to be ready. It's never going to be perfect. One of the things that would keep me from doing things is because I wanted it to be perfect all the time. Even with dropping music, dropping content, different things like that. Like you said, you're never going to be all the way ready. So I would tell that person as well, like, do you and try to be the best version of you, and everything will come.
I love it. And you got to hit on a point that I like to always remind myself, like, you almost have to be thankful that it's not perfect, because now you got something to do.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if it was perfect, if I went out here and I was just perfect at everything, what point do I have to wake up?
Yeah, you could be like, well, actually, I'm done. Yeah. Like, it would be nothing. That's the balance of life, the beauty of it. What makes success taste so great is knowing that you worked for it. I'm talking about everything is so much better when I knew I worked for it. Like, I'm like, I got it out the mud with this. It tastes so much better. And so embrace the work. I would tell a little me, embrace the work. Don't be scared. And be ready for different challenges, and be ready to just, see your way through it. Yeah.
Because it's going to be, and the thing is, you can only say so much because they're going to have their own little journey.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. Like, I try not to sound so vague, but everybody's journey looks different. So to even say, like, someone who's trying to do what I'm doing, I was trying to do what someone else was doing, and it looks completely different. Yeah. It's never going to look the same, so that's why I keep it in a way that applies to everything in life, to stay grounded and to just do what you want to do and do what you feel. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's dope, because If you don't, you'll, again, we've talked about it. You'll just, you won't pace out. You'll eventually run out of that steam. So I think it's beautiful that you kind of laid it out that way. Could you kind of, now this is just like one of the final things. Like, what is it like a day in the life like? Like, what does it look like on a daily? You know what I mean? Like, was it like creating a song, the inspiration process, or like just what are you doing? Like, because you're not at a 9 to 5, you're showing up at 9 and you go home. What is the actual daily process like?
So every day looks different for me. Monday, I might have to go to the studio. Another day, I might have to go to an event. Another day, I have to go to a gala. Like, it just always looks different. My weeks, nothing looks the same. But that's what I love about it, because it's always a surprise. So I can't say, you know, every day I do wake up, I thank God. You know, I do the usual, the hygiene routine. And I get dressed, I do my own makeup, and I just go out. Like, for example, if I go to an event, I'll meet my publicist there. My mom is my manager, so my mom will be alongside me. I have my slate, so my slate is my name, so it would say Daraja Superstar, and the slate is what you give the photographers at the event, so that they know who you are when they put it on Getty Images, right? So they already have to have that, so they'll be able to upload it under your name. So then go on the carpet, take some pictures, and then do some interviews. Sometimes they do interviews on the carpet, network. It's a rule. I can't leave an event without 3 contacts.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a rule. And if I don't, it's like, what was you doing? So, yeah, what we doing? So, and oh, what's your number? Like, people trying to get at you is not a contact. Yeah, it has to be business. So that would be that for events. In the studio, I'm comfortable. I try to get real comfortable, real relaxed, and I just do what I feel. I try not to put too much pressure. Like, we going to the studio after this. Yeah, so
I'm excited.
yeah, we going to the studio after this, catch a vibe, listen to some beats. So yeah.
And then, like, you kind of talked about like networking and stuff like that, and talking to different people at these events. What is it like talking to somebody that you may have looked up to in this industry, and like still having yourself not as you're below them? Like, how do you maintain this sense of like, no, I'm Daraja, I'm not below anybody?
That's what I say. Like, so of course we have to recognize people's success and where they are in their careers. I would never take that away from anyone. Like, oh yeah, I'm just as, as you. But it's a mindset at the same time. Like, I'm not gonna feel like I'm beneath you while still respecting what you've done so far. Like, recently I met Cynthia Bailey. Beautiful spirit. She was really nice. And I was just telling her, you have to have conversations with people that you respect in a way where you feel like you're supposed to be here. It can't be like, oh, you so fanned out and you're not supposed to be here. You can respectfully say, because you're creative too, you feel like you're great and want to be where they are. You have to put yourself in that position. So respectfully, like, oh, it's so nice meeting you. I think you're beautiful. I've always respected your work and loved what you do. And they're like, wow, I can see this person. She said it. I can see this person going really far. I can see you going really far. And so that's how I go about that. There's no one that I meet that's just too high to where I'm just tripped out. I keep my composure, but I still give them all the love and respect, because I do feel like we are in this together. Like, even though you've done all these things, I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you.
And I think when you've truly been on your journey, like you truly been in your struggle, and this is why I love this podcast. When I'm talking to you or to other people, it's like, I know we've had parallels in the journey.
Yes.
And so when you're talking to the people and you have that behind you, they can like almost magnetically.
That's
feel,
true. That's true. They can tell that you're not on BS. You really know what it is. And it's like, I don't know, it's like this secret communication amongst great people. When I was amongst like all these amazing people that I would look up to, you can just tell, like, you've been through something too. You've had to go through the same journeys, been told 100 no's, a few yeses. Like, you know what it is. And the reason I know you know is because you've made it this far. It's all necessary. And so, yeah, it's up here. You got to know.
Yeah, I think you hit on it big because a lot of people don't relate with it because they don't have. It's hard to explain because we sound crazy, but it's like they don't have that pathway of frequency to understand that feeling. You know?
Yes.
And so for me, the reason I can get certain people on my podcast is because I have moments with them where they're like, I know he's there with me. You know what I mean? I know.
Yes, because when I was watching the clips on the Root of Everything, I was like, oh, he gets it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you can just tell when like, you get it. And I was like, let me come on here.
Yeah, it's because it's like, I come across a lot of friends, and they see my podcast, they're like, Jamal, I need to get on there. But it's like, I don't know if you know it yet.
Yeah, you looking for the content and the exposure. But do you really feel me, though?
Exactly.
Can you smell me? Like, no, like.
And what's hard about it is, like, when you're making those decisions to go to LA, when you're making decisions to be your true self, and people are telling you this, it's a tough thing because not everybody's going to be able to have this conversation with you. And so for me, the couple conversations I was able to have that had that energy is what propels you, because talking to people that don't have this thing that we're describing will push your dreams down. Will tell, because they just can't physically, mentally, spiritually see it. It's not capable.
And it's amazing that it be strangers that can see it. It be the strangers that can see it. It be the friends and the family sometimes can't see it, but them strangers, oh my goodness, your biggest supporters. You'll be amazed.
I've been at the airport getting a ticket, and the dude just like, I know. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's something.
That's one of my favorite compliments, when people can pick up on it and like not hear anything from, they just know. Like, I was at a gala. It was the Pump Foundation. It's like a charity gala, and I was sitting next to a guy. He also has a podcast and stuff, and I was just talking to him about what I do, and he was like, you gonna make it.
Yeah.
And I was like, why you say that? Like, it's only been 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I can just tell. Like, you just are. It's just gonna happen.
And it's just some type of connection.
I love that.
Some divine connection we have. We can't put our finger on it, but it's there.
I love it, yeah.
And so I'm glad we were able to get you on the fly. Now,
man,
it's been amazing already, but I want to ask one final question.
Okay.
Because we got to look into the future. What's the big dream for you now that you've reached this success? What's the thing you're looking to the future like, that's what I want for the future? What's the big ambition?
Definitely to keep creating. I would love to eventually, get a hit record out there and continue to just build my fan base. I think one of the biggest things that I say is that it's not a pinpoint thing next for me. It's just like continuing to grow. If I can just keep my ball rolling, I know like everything else is going to come to me. And so, definitely do some collaborations, some shows. Everything that you could think of is just going to keep the ball rolling.
I love it. Like for me, when somebody asks me, Jamal, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm just like, I'm going to just take a step forward every day.
Yeah, that's all you can do. I try to stay in the moment, and it's moment to moment, and appreciate. And I don't know what it's going to look like in 5 years, but I know it's going to be great.
It's going to be better than where I am.
And that's what's important. Exactly. Yes.
And to end it off, is there any last advice to anybody who's trying to find their passion or found their passion, or just dreamers in general, that you would like to give to the Root of Everything family before we let you go?
I would like to say one of the biggest things you can do is use your fear as fuel. If you're scared to do it, that means that you need to. Right. And so that's one of the things that I did. I changed my life by doing the things that scared me. And so don't be discouraged. Block out the outside noise, like I always say, and do what fulfills you. Do what fulfills you, and go at your own pace. A lot of times we get so caught up, especially in this world now with social media, worried about what other people are doing. Keep your blindfold on. I always say that, like, when we run in this race, if you don't look to your left or your right and you stay with your blindfold on, you just gonna keep going. So that's all I can say. Don't compare yourself, and just keep doing you.
Gotcha. I ain't got nothing left to say. Ended amazingly. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you
It's been a
so much.
pleasure.
Thank you for having me. This is amazing. I really am glad that us Bishop Dunn alumni,
Yeah, doing those
root of everything. So yeah, thank you so much for having
Thank
me.
you. And make sure on the other side y'all like, comment, subscribe. We'll see y'all next time on the Root of Everything. Peace.